Yeah, well, now it works.
To our friends that are on Zoom, have you all been able to take your attendance using the QR code, or do you still need a few moments?
Yeah, well, now it works.
To our friends that are on Zoom, have you all been able to take your attendance using the QR code, or do you still need a few moments?
Oh.
Well, I'll put it up on the board for you now. Is everybody able to see the QR code online? Well, yeah. All right, I'm going to quick post the attendance URL in the chat for anyone that comes in late, and then we are going to go ahead and start our meeting. So there goes that. And we can go into our agenda, which I will start sharing with the call to order. We're a few minutes late, but that's all right. Is there a motion to approve the joint session of the legislature meeting minutes from last week?
Make motion to approve the meeting.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there consent?
Consent.
Consent has been called. Any oppositions? Hearing and seeing none, the motion passes. Before we move into the approval of the agenda, I want to bring your attention to an item that has been changed. Speaker Shapiro requested 5 minutes to discuss the student election code. So that has been added since the time that the agenda was sent out to everybody. Now that you're fully informed of the most updated version of the agenda, is there a motion to approve it? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there consent? Consent has been called. Any opposition? Hearing and seeing none, that motion passes. Which means we can go into the Project X survey, which is being presented on behalf of Vice President Alicia Ewing. Yeah, if just turn that one on, actually. It should work fine.
Hello. Hello. There we go. All right, so I guess I'll toss back here. That's a good idea. All right, so we as cabinet put together a survey based on Project X and everything that all the committees are working on. The QR code is going to be up there in a minute, but yeah, so there are questions from each committee. So I don't know, I think this is a cool opportunity for you to kind of see and get an idea of what each committee is working on outside of your own. So yeah, writing on that survey, we're gonna give you guys like 10 minutes to do the survey right now. So I recommend doing that once we have the link. So yeah, there's a QR code there. We'd appreciate it if you answered the question truthfully and honestly. And yeah, thanks.
Is the QR code working?
Or like a link you can type in too.
If you give me enough time to edit the slide, yes.
It's not shared with. Yeah, I need permission to.
Yeah, you have to be logged into your WMISH Google account in order for it to.
If you give me a minute, I'll make it so you don't. There you go. You don't have to be logged into your WMISH anymore.
At least. I'm not wrong. You're right. Or at least one.
How are we doing on time, everyone? Do we need more time to fill out the survey, or are we okay?
Need a few more minutes.
All right.
Oh. No.
If you're just joining us on Zoom, I just dropped the attendance link in the chat. Please make sure to sign in. I bet I am. Remember. Like, that's just like.
Yeah.
That one's not. All right, everyone, it looks like that is about as much time as we have for the survey. If you need to finish that up real quick, please do so. But otherwise, we're gonna move on to our next agenda item. Which happens to be Speaker Shapiro with the student election code.
I'm not going to take up too much of everyone's time, hopefully 30 seconds, if I don't keep talking.
The microphone's not on.
I didn't think. Now it's on. Maybe. Is it sound on? It's on. Is it? All right, cool. So I've had some people, I've had people come to me with questions about the SEC. a very small amount who have actually read the SEC. The rest were the people from last week who were here. I would like to encourage everyone to read the SEC before coming to ask questions about something you might not understand. I know you think you heard something last week, but you probably heard it wrong. And on the case of those who didn't read the SEC, they heard it wrong. So please read the document. I'll be happy to answer any questions about parts of the document you don't understand, as well as other people in the EPC. But the key is to read the document so that we are all on the same page. I cannot stress that enough. If you don't care about reading the document, you don't care about the SEC or the EPC or the election, that's okay. That's super okay. But don't ask me any questions and we'll all get along well. So thank you all so much. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Here, moving into new business, we have the spring 2022 budget approval by VP Gavin Garrison.
All right, what's up, guys? How we doing? Good? Alive? It's Wednesday. Great. Sunny outside. All right, we'll get into it. Okay, so I heard some comments, last time, and they were like, you didn't make the budget your own. You just kind of copied things from last year. You know what? You're right. I didn't make it my own. But this semester, I made it my own. This is actually I based it off a lot of what people were using last semester as kind of a gauge of what really needed to happen and what things were going to happen this semester. So as you follow, the rollover from last semester was $74,000. We started with around 130, so we used $50,000 roughly, which is pretty good. We got a lot of things done, so it's pretty good. We don't have the income for this semester, but I guess they made it 10% less from what fall was, so that's around $31,000. So total for this year, we should have around $105,000. We'll get those numbers as soon as the the people give it to us. What's the organization? The Student Office Engagement. Yeah. That's those guys. Yeah.
Yes, we.
Student Office.
Oh, you're right.
Yep. So yeah.
One person in charge of all the offices.
Exactly. So we'll get to that shortly. So I guess we'll start off from the executive branch. So the president is going to get $4,000 and vice is going to get $4,000. And then I have $1,000. So total, the executive branch is $9,000. Legislative, you can see all those values. Community involvement has the biggest one because they have to work with mental health week. You're welcome, Charles. You got a lot of money there. And then public affairs has the $4,000, so they can work with dinner of delegates. So then the other ones are based off of what they really need. The digital has $500 in case they want to get food or something. Allocation commission, they have money for whatever they need as well. And candidate compensation. So this is something that I have to bring up. So I was basing off of old candidate compensation, which is $20,000. We had fewer positions last year, I believe. So we added more positions, meaning that we have to pay all of us, right? So the increase of that was $7,500. So total over the whole year is $27,500. So this year this semester we have to increase by $7,500. So I just want to let that be clear. And the official budget last semester was $20,000. This semester is $30,000 because we have a trip that we're planning. So a lot of that's going to go to working on that, and then also other things that WC needs to work on. Sponsorship fund still staying around $5,000. We didn't use as much of it last semester, but I think we can probably use more of it this semester. Collaboration staying the same at $10,000. That seems like a really good spot for it. Campus project fund as well, $10,000, and the reserve budget. I felt as though $10,000 was a good place to have. Let's say all of this was spent. At least we have $10,000 that we have for next year, and we get around $35,000 or $40,000 every semester. So we'll have around $40,000 to $45,000 if we use all of it. So I think $10,000 is a good place to have if all of this gets used, which I don't think it will be, but we'll see what happens. I think $10,000 is a good place. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to. Oh yes, Dakota.
Yeah. Are we allowed to suggest and vote on the amendment?
Yes. you are.
Yeah,
Awesome.
What's your-
I would like an extra $2,000 for VPRVA,
why?
mostly for me to embezzle, but also because we need to buy ads and other stuff, and UPC needs money, and I don't think 25, it might be enough, but I'd like to be a little liberal. I like to spend.
If we have to, I'll take it out of the reserve budget, but we should work with what we have so far. That's my.
500 more?
I mean, $500.
We'll
Okay.
forgo your extra pay increase then.
What extra pay? When was I gonna hear about a pay increase?
Well, the $7,500 is cabinet compensation. We'll take 500 off and that will be yours.
For me? Just for me to have? Like, I'll take that, maybe like the whole 7,500. But,
So good, if you need extra, like we can take it out of the
you
reserve
know
budget.
what? I will just start taking it from other people's.
You can do that too, yeah. We can never get fair, sometimes they don't use it, you know?
We could also explore the option of potentially pulling from the operational fund
Yeah,
because
that
the
too.
UBC is a constitution required thing that has to happen.
Okay,
And we used around 15,000 of the operational, so we had $5,000 remaining. So if we use around $15,000 and the trip costs around 10,000, you should still be okay.
Okay.
So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
I'm coming for your budget.
All right, come for it, man. Strong,
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
Was it taken into consideration that Charles and myself are splitting mental health week, but like the cost on that?
Yeah, so like basically like, well, he can take more of it, right? So it can be like a bigger split. So like last semester, he used most of his budget for the mental health week. Or actually the way I looked at it, Alicia, it was around 2,000, I think, that was from your budget or something like that. And then his was a little more. So, but he said he's more willing to take the mental more from his budget to do that. So, yeah.
Sorry,
So like all of you guys will work in, tandem. Yeah. Does it feel good?
Are there any?
not really, but okay.
Oh, okay.
Are there any questions from anyone online? You can either just go ahead and start speaking or put your name in the chat or your question in the chat.
I guess like the way I was thinking of it, Charles can use more of his money. So like the ratio is like 70-30 or something like that.
All right.
So like, does that make more sense?
No, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Okay, yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you please explain why the projected balance shows us in negative dollars?
Yeah, so that's basically so your income is 105, right? You do that, and if you do like, so that's you scroll down. Okay, so total projected cost. So that's if we use all of it. So that's even like saying you spend $10,000 of reserve budget. That's going to be $106,000. So that's saying that you spent $10,000. Or like, that's projected cost, right? So you're not actually buying that, right? So like, if any, it would mean you're $50 into the reserve budget. Make sense?
Any questions?
Can you explain the executive box again? What's the projected cost? Is that their budget?
Yeah, so projected cost is like their budget. That's for all of them.
And actual cost is how much they've used.
They've used, yeah.
So far this semester?
Yeah.
Oh,
this
not
semester.
No. You only got a little money there.
Huh?
You only have $1,000.
Yeah.
Did you use your $1,000 last semester?
No.
Oh, it seems like VPRVA.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like mine is like I'm using mine kind of like as a reserve budget. If anybody needs it, or like if I come up with an idea to use my money.
VPRVA.
But she needs it. She needs it. I got it. I got you. I got the cover. I don't even know what that is.
All right, are there any other questions? All right, hearing and seeing none, then we can go into voting. You should have received your Slido information roughly 45 minutes ago. So please go and vote in favor or in opposition of the budget as it currently stands.
Are you voting no? I see those eyes.
I have one vote.
No. I get you sweating a little.
You all of it.
Just don't go like buy a 7-course dinner.
You know, that was. That sounds like I'm joking, but there was a plan.
Oh, wait, really?
Why stop at 7?
Why stop at 7? I
Go
know.
12, man.
I'm treating my EPC members to good deals.
Just the whole day, man. Just
And
the whole
good
day
deals.
best.
Go big or go home.
I love the dedication.
What?
I love the dedication.
Yeah, it's a cool group. More people should be in it.
It's like week 4. I wasn't invited.
Yeah, you were invited. I mean, you can join, but there's some costs. My I didn't get it in.
So in response to your question, after reviewing parliamentary procedure from last week, abstain is not actually a voting option. It's just something you do. So you just wouldn't cast a vote. You can't vote to abstain.
Oh, you're right. No one's gonna know who I am without.
Do we need any more time, either in person or online, to cast votes?
Are we using the Slido thing? I don't know what the name was. The new way to vote?
Yes, voting is done being Slido. Legislative members should have received information from me about 45 minutes ago.
Oh, I don't know how to use that, but I'm with the coder.
Ma'am, you're not legislative, so you can't really vote on this.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, if she wants, I'm not gonna stop her from voting. That's a park's problem. But
I can't see who votes.
See?
Voting is anonymous.
If there is a no, I know who it is.
Not me.
Who is it?
I'll just send emails to Valerie, like, hey, we need to pull out of like sustainability budget for this. Like, I'll just send that. She'll do it.
We're gonna get a Google form for that. So
Okay.
make it a little easier on me.
Yeah, I just sent you guys an email. I don't know.
I did.
Valerie got back, so it looks like it'll be.
Huh?
Valerie got back to me.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She said it's pretty.
I wasn't involved in that.
Well, you were on the
I
email.
wasn't the first one.
Well, she probably didn't.
She just replied to you. probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
All right, everyone, I'm going to be closing the poll in 15 seconds, unless you absolutely horribly need more time and alert you guys then. Alrighty then. With 29 votes, key results. With 29 votes, 93% are in favor of this budget, 7% in opposition. The budget
Don't look at me,
passes.
literally was not. Fine.
Hey,
Thank-
cool.
Thank you very much, VP Daniel. All All right, moving on to the next item, on our agenda is. All right, moving on to the next item on our agenda is modality feedback. Even though this is a legislative meeting, given the fact that it affects all members, including cabinet, I will also allow cabinet to participate actively in this discussion. I am requesting feedback from everyone regarding modality moving forward. As I sent out my email at the start of the semester, we are going to make it hybrid without any restrictions. I said that there's a possibility that we can make an expectation of in-person and obviously continue the hybrid option for those who can't attend. Or if you want, we could do a hybrid, your choice, but you have to RSVP 2 weeks in advance to be guaranteed food. I'm looking for feedback. What works best for you all?
I guess I really appreciate the hybrid modality because it provides options and accessibility for people. Say it's, hard for someone to drive to campus, the weather's bad, we're voting on an issue, I can get you, provide that a little bit extra security that people know they can be involved and engaged in the meeting, even if they're not able to be with us in person. And that I think is something that I'm willing to sacrifice the food for, to guarantee that my, friends in WSA can also be.
Thank you. Real quick, I will reiterate that I'm not moving it back to in-person only. We will be hybrid for the rest of the semester. I'm just wondering if you prefer hybrid with an RSVP option for food, hybrid with no food and come and go as you please. Other suggestions are always welcome. So I'll work my way around the room. I'll go Alex, then Colin, then Matt, and then Griffin.
I just had, since we have decided to do hybrid mode for the rest of the semester, I would just encourage to find ways to make the online experience engaging, just as much as engaging as the in-person. I'm going to be honest. I was attending virtual last week. I had my thing muted for half of the meeting because I just wasn't engaged, and that's the thing. I just felt like we were left out. The camera was off for a little bit, and there was just no engaging of the people online. So just going forward, finding a way to make it engaging in some way for the online people.
You're telling me that the student election code reading was engaging?
I thought education, but it also sounds engaging.
Can I say it though?
Miriam, I have added you to the speakers list. I will call you when it's your turn to speak, all right?
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Colin, you're up.
Yeah, so as the Speaker of the House, I'm actually getting a little bit of training right now through LeadCorps on hybrid settings and how to actually make it kind of inclusive both in person and online. So I'm hoping to introduce we are hoping to introduce some of that at our first House meeting. The representatives, stay tuned for that.
Thank you. Matthew Pruitt.
We're sorry. You all get that kind of privilege from me.
Matthew Pruitt.
I'll train you, Dakota.
So, I believe that we can get more done in person. I think that's, we can agree with that. With the university new rule of being boosted, if you are boosted, you can test it. If we're checking badges, I feel like in person is probably the best option, or at least do a hybrid option and let people who want to be in person come get food. There are some options in place, and I do think that it does help us get more done.
Thank you. Miriam.
I like the hybrid option, but the only thing is that like the people that go in person, sometimes when they talk, I can't really hear. I'm not sure if anybody else online can, but maybe if they can join through their laptops, because I knew we're gonna do that for the breakout sessions, but maybe we could do that for the regular one too, just so we hear better for those of us online.
Thank you for that suggestion. Is there anybody else who wishes to present feedback, suggestions, questions, comments, cries of outrage, trademark hate baits? Griffin.
Oh, yeah. So in terms of food with hybrid modality, I don't think it really matters whether we're hybrid or not. I just think it won't make much of a difference for whether we're in person or online. at least the food, like if we have food here, great. And also Alex made a really good point, actually. I think we could use some better ways to keep virtual, to keep people virtual engaged. And last meeting, I mean, I had to work at 5:30 last meeting, so like I had to leave after an hour, but like it wasn't really that engaging. I think there's some ways like we can keep people online engaged more, whether that's through by asking them just like how they're doing once in a while, or just like how why they decided what they voted, or just really to just find I think really asking questions in the chat, or just giving them like the focus something in the chat, I think will help keep them more engaged.
Thank you, Dakota and
Alexis actually has something.
what's your name back there? Sorry.
Well,
Thank you.
I was gonna go into speaker now.
I will let Alexis go first and then you, all right?
Cool. I was gonna say, I don't know, and I haven't heard enough about the preferences for food, but if like we were to go forward with food, I don't think an RCT is the best way to order the food, because if we're doing it 2 weeks in advance, then like, what if I got COVID? You know what I mean? Or like I'm feeling bad, or I feel like giving people the flexibility. So it's like maybe if we order like 66% of, or like 30, I don't know, like 50% of the capacity that of people that can come to the in-person, and then like that's the food that we have. Sorry, your SOL if we run out, but then we're not ordering too much. That's kind of my opinion.
Thank you. I will just say though, on the food topic, on average, we spend between $250 to $300 per joint session on food alone. We divide that up among 50 people. It costs a decent amount of money per person. That's why the RCP thing was a suggestion. Make sure we don't overspend, but I do like if we just put a flat percentage in there. Will?
I was just gonna say, for people like online that says, like, maybe we could have everyone have to turn on their camera or something online to make it more engaging, because like right now, nobody has their camera on or anything, so you don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, thank you. I will reiterate that, as always, cameras are welcome if you're joining us online. We'd like to see your shining faces. Or your Wednesday 4:30 p.m. faces, either one. Miriam, I'm gonna add you to the list again, all right? And then Dakota.
Oh, thank you. So I like a silly, it'll sound like a silly idea, but I bet it would be fun, especially for me. Say, for instance, the WSA paid money to get like a Minecraft server, and we all did all our voting in like a Minecraft server, like the people at home. The people at home could do like interesting things and like make stuff in Minecraft. You could do that. I think everyone would have a good time. I think we'd have productive meetings. And then we'd all, I don't know.
We have like a fundraiser.
That's too productive. I really just, but I think that would actually be interesting, or something like that, where we can do some sort of like virtual engagement, some metaverse stuff.
Let's meet in the metaverse.
What's that?
Let's meet in the metaverse.
In the metaverse.
All right. Thank you, Colin. You're on my list. No, you're off my list. Miriam, do you have something else to say?
Yeah, sorry. I always have something to say. So I like the idea of like turning our cameras on. I think that's a good one. But sometimes I can't do that just because my daughter is with me and I don't really want her on like YouTube and stuff. So yeah, but it's a good thing though, I think.
Thank you. That's totally understandable too with your reasoning. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns, cries of outrage from people either in person or online? One second out.
Oh, sorry. Just a quick suggestion on food for next time. Flash Jimmy John's, please. Thank you.
All right, then hearing and seeing no additional feedback, I want to say thank you all for that. It's very nice to hear your opinions as always. And we can move into committee breakouts. For those of you that are joining on Zoom, I'm going to launch committee breakouts via Zoom. They'll be open for 1 hour, not 156 minutes. They'll be open for,
Oh, wow.
and you'll be able to choose your own room. So here we go.
Sorry, I'm
It should be open. If you're in person, could you please be quiet for a moment? I'm trying to explain this to our people online. Thank you. If you're online, you should be able to join the breakout rooms. They should have just popped up on your screen. Feel free to click one. Yeah, thank you. If you have issues, let me know. Committee chairs, you should already have your laptops and you can join us on Zoom and join your committee as well. Thank you, and disperse.
Organizational culture and operations is over there. Finance is over there.
Yeah, that's what I learned.
Governing process.
We're breaking up in committees and you can. That gives you the option to process, the outreach, the finance, or the organizational committee. Feel free to join with everyone you want, and if you have questions, feel free to send those in the chat.
Well, President has,
CCTVs in the courtyard, they know what's going on. They killed him too. They would fucking murder him. Just like he murdered her. Stevie! Awesome. Oops.
Hi, Alicia.
You should get an email at some point, but it's next week. Okay, same time.
If you are online, can you hear me? Can the people online hear us in person? Awesome, thank you, Aaron. All right, everyone, we're gonna move into our last and final part of our agenda for tonight. It is oral remarks. If you are online, feel free to unmute yourself and share any oral remarks that you have. If you are in person, raise your hand and I will run the microphone over to you.
Hi, everyone. Happy Western Wednesday. I just wanted to share an opportunity for students who are, for you or students who you think might be interested in doing civic engagement work here at Western. There's an organization formerly known as the Campus Election Engagement Project, which I worked for them before. They are now called Civic Influencers. They are looking for civic influencers to, work on voter registration, education, and turnout on college campuses around the country. There is an application that's open until January 31st. I will make sure by tomorrow I send this link out in email to y'all. So if any of you are interested in becoming civic influencers to further civic engagement and democratic engagement at Western, this is a good opportunity. It is paid, depending on or off election years, between $500 and $1,000 stipend a semester. So this is a good opportunity, you know, to build your resume or, just make our campus community a more engaged place. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. Thank you. I'll head over here.
Guys, happy Western Wednesday. Just for the representatives in the House, Colin and I sent you an email today. It has 3 forms on it. If you could fill out all 3 of those forms, that'd be great. One of them, I believe the second one was something new that we want to do this semester at House meetings and kind of trying to spotlight on your RSO and just kind of give a 1-minute elevator pitch of what your RSO is about and what you do at these meetings so that we can get a better feel for all the RSOs and all that. So if you could throw that out, that'd be much appreciated. Build some involvement within the House. So thank you and get those done.
The House. Woo!
Yeah.
Okay, if you or a friend has a sustainable idea that we could integrate to our campus, apply for the student sustainability grants. And those applications are due the Thursday before spring break, which I believe is March 3rd. But don't wait until then. Get in touch with me or the Office of Sustainability now.
Oh, okay.
So as I put in the chat for our online people, the Western Student Education Association is going to do a teacher and student panel on Tuesday, February 15th at 6 p.m. You can join us on Zoom or in room 4330 of Sanguine Hall. Thank you. Are there any other oral remarks? Alexis?
You want to start?
I have a few updates for you all. One is a repeat, one is new, and one is pretty freaking new. I'm excited about it. So the first one that I have for you guys is if you haven't already applied for the student government conferences, please go do that. They do close next Wednesday at midnight. We'll be going to Texas and Michigan. Michigan will be February 18th and 19th. And then the Texas conference is March 25th through 27th. So all expenses will be covered by WSA. So go ahead and apply. Open to all WSA members, all 3 branches. If you have any questions, feel free to see me, Alex, Lawrence, or Alicia after this meeting. The next one is that I am meeting with Dr. Montgomery on Friday for our monthly meeting. And I plan on bringing up some different topics of conversation. If you guys would like to add to those, let me know. But currently I have for the agenda an update on organizational charts, fraternity village safety measures, the surge of sustainability initiatives and ideas. In this position, I've received over the past month, like an insane amount of emails about students concerned about sustainability, which is awesome, but I just want to make sure that's on his radar. And then student leader concerns about student engagement and then admin's engagement on campus. A lot of people feel like, they might not even recognize who President Montgomery is or any of the VPs. So kind of bringing that topic up and being like, hey, maybe you should start coming to RSOs or coming around and being around. With that being said, the last thing that I wanted to talk about and let you all in on, because the details are still formalizing, but I want to get you guys excited about it. We will be doing some kind of spring RSO fair in partnership with Marcom. So look out for that, but it'll be open to both new students and incoming students and current students. So it'll be a really great recruitment opportunity for RSOs to get together, hopefully safely. And there'll be free lunch as well. So we're working on the details of that now. But just so you know.
What's Marcom?
Just so you know, Marcom is the Office of Marketing and Strategic Communications. So basically they're working on Western Weekend. It's an event for admitted students to be able to be like, hey, yes, this is where I want to go. And then this is just one experience. So the cool part is that WVSA will help coordinate it, but most of the expenses will be covered by admin. So yeah, just so you know.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in person or online who would like to make their own remark? I see Megan Higgins raise your hand. Go for it.
Coming up is dance marathon. It's going to be at the end of March. So our hype squad applications just came out. So we would love some people to come and fill those out, come participate. It's not going to be like a super long event. We're thinking like 5 or 6 hours. It's going to be on March 26th in the rec. We've got a lot of cool things planned so far. I don't know if I'm allowed to like, yes, I can. I don't know if I'm allowed to like say our theme yet because we haven't like, I don't think we've officially announced it, but it's going to be a dang good time. Dance marathon, like we get together, we spend like the 5 or 6 hours that our event is, and we learn a new portion of like a dance at the top of every hour, and then we perform that big dance at the end, and we raise as much money as we humanly possibly can for the DeVos Children's Hospital up in Grand Rapids for the Children's Miracle Network. And all of the money that we raise goes directly to them. Like DeVos Children's personally really impacted my life, so like it's really close and special to me, but we want as many people to come participate as possible because this is like gonna be like we had an in-person event last year, but this year is gonna be even bigger, even better. And yeah, we just want some people to come participate. And you can find the link for Hype Squad or just like to register for Dance Marathon in total, like on the DM_WMU Instagram page. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. Could you just drop that Instagram handle in the chat? That way everyone can have that go through. Is there anybody else who wishes to make an oral remark or public comment? Anyone, member of WCA that wants to say something?
All right, so the first one is going to be our new group me. We're as the committee for organizational culture and operations, we wanted to put together a non-business group meeting that lets us kind of talk to each other and just, I don't know, do fun stuff instead of just like being in business mode all the time with each other. So if you want to join this will be super fun. We're planning on doing some fun events outside of WSA this semester. So this is probably where the planning is going to happen. If you want to be involved in those, highly recommend joining this group meeting. I'm really excited for it. So yeah, I also have another announcement in regards to the Senator and Rep of the Month. So I know we haven't done that in a little bit, and we're very sorry for that, but we are very excited to bring that back. So for our Senator of the Month is Griffin Baginski. There he is. Do you want to tell us who you represent and what your favorite part of last semester and this semester has been?
For WSA?
Anything.
So my name is Griffin and I represent the Hayward College of Business. And really my favorite part about this last semester and this semester really being part of WSA and just being part of the WMU community in general has just been being able to give back to the community in some way and just continue to make a difference on campus. And that's what I want to do when I first joined WSA. And I'm just glad to be part of an association that strives to make that difference every day on campus. And that wants to put the students first, because I feel like that's something that a lot of schools need. And that I feel like we as an association can carry on that difference to other universities. So I'm glad to be part of an association that wants to just make a difference.
Really appreciate your work, and we're really thankful to have you with us. Our rep of the month is going to be Tyler Ranko. I don't know. What? Nicholas Hayes. Okay, sorry. Nicholas Hayes. Hayes. I'm very sorry. And your favorite things about this semester.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nick Hayes. I'm not Tyler. Yeah. But I represent the Bronco marching band, and my favorite thing out of this past semester specifically was celebrating not only the 100th year of the WSA, but also the 100th season of the Bronco Marching Band. We were founded in 1915, and then I think we took 6 years off cumulative. One of those was for COVID, and the other 2 was for world wars. So this past marching season was the 100th performance season of the Bronco Marching Band, and we had a lot of really great events, partially funded by the WSA. So it was really cool getting to work with that connection.
Thank you for all your contributions. We really appreciate you. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Am I forgetting something? Do you want to make an announcement with me? Okay.
So happy Western Wednesday, y'all. Hope you're doing Bronco fabulous. As you are all aware, last week, this chamber passed the 2022 Student Election Code, thus setting the WSA annual election in motion. I am thrilled to announce that today, Vice President for Student Affairs, Alicia Ewing, and I are launching our candidacy for Student Body President and Vice President. Alicia and I are extremely passionate and dedicated students who are looking forward to engage, educate, and empower students across Western Michigan University's campus. We believe continuing the work that the current administration has already started, while adding our own flair, will serve the best interests of not only the Western Student Association, but our campus community as a whole.
Over the past year, we've seen numerous ideas and projects that started and just can't die out within the next year. So the continuation of the current administration's goals are paramount to ensuring the long-term success of WSA and solidifying the mindset that we serve the students, not ourselves. Changes have already been starting to be made through the Project X campaign and will only continue to grow under our leadership next year. We often think and talk about leaving legacy behind as a part of WSA, and Eric and I agree that though all students should have the opportunity and support from their student government to leave a legacy of their own. Therefore, from the start of our campaign, we will focus on 3 things. Number 1, engaging students both in and out of WSA. Number 2, educating students about the resources available to them through WSA and WMU. And number 3, empowering them to utilize those resources and make their own positive change.
We have a lot of ideas in mind on how to accomplish these goals, and we look forward to rolling them out over the next week. To stay up to date on our campaign, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Our page name is WMU.123. If you have suggestions or just want to talk about our vision for the Western Student Association and what you have in mind for the future of this campus, we would love to meet with you. The best way to get a hold of us is through a private message to one of our social media platforms. And again, our page name is WMU.123. Overall, Alicia and I are committed, driven, and passionate students working towards the success of the WSA and our beloved university. However, to see the betterment of both of these wonderful institutions, leaders who engage, empower, and educate students are required. We both fit that bill and are ready to get started. Thank you. And with that being said, I see no additional oral remarks, so we can call for a motion to adjourn. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there consent? Consent has been called. Any opposition? Opposed? All right, we go into a vote. We can vote via Slido. I'll launch that right now.
Not adjourning. I just have a quick oral remark.
We're just going to pass.
Next one is B. Wait. C. 4 reports out.
Yeah,
Can we clarify what we're voting for?
we are, okay, so
I will clarify first, the Slido password is V as in Victor, G as in golf, C as in Charlie, 4, C as in Charlie, C as in Zulu. We are voting whether to adjourn the meeting or whether to continue with oral remarks. If you're in favor, you're in favor of adjourning the meeting. If you're in opposition, you wish to stay longer.
What did you, repeat that again.
The password to the Slido is V as in Victor, G as in golf, C as in Charlie, 4, C as in Charlie, Z as in Zulu. In favor is to adjourn and leave this meeting. Opposition is to continue with oral remarks.
There's just one last minute, so.
We all want to hear what you have to say.
Trying not to influence the vote.
Yeah, Alex, stop.
You don't want people to know.
Don't adjourn, don't adjourn. Yeah, so everyone wants to learn about civic influencers, like come over here, we're having a nice conversation about it.
If, excuse me, if you,
Anyone else who hasn't voted, please vote.
if you're a representative or senator in person, please raise your hand. If you are a representative or senator in person, please raise your hand.
Meeting's over, but because we don't have quorum.
The meeting is ended for 2 reasons. 1, 18 votes were cast, 56% in favor of ending the meeting now. 2, we don't have quorum.
You can't stay for the oral remark, though.
Yes, if you would like to stay to make oral remarks, you can, but official business has concluded.
1 minute.
Hi, everybody. Me again. Totally wanted to say something and didn't have the opportunity to say it. I just think that it's important that I say it. As someone that went through the election process last year and took a severe toll on my mental health, I just want to remind you that this is student government at Western Michigan University. It is not that deep. It's super important, the work that we do, but we do not need to be making character attacks on people. Do not need to be treating people like they aren't humans. This is student government. Let's put students first. And if you oppose whoever's running, go out and put your name in there too. That's what brings out the best in competition. So I just want to remind you all, for 98% of you that respect what people are and who they are and what they're doing and what their choices are, thank you. But for the 2% of you that, just want to create drama, why? It's student government. So I just wanted to say that as someone that, doesn't think that it needs to be that deep. I came from a different organization on this campus, much like many of you, that there isn't this much drama surrounding elections. So just kind of do some internal reflection. If you feel the need, the desire to, make this bigger than it is, please just remember, this is student government, the 4th largest institution in the state of Michigan, 50 other states that also have 4 student governments that are the biggest. So that's all I can remind you and just humble you with that. So with that, I yield.
Thank you for sharing that.
Is there anybody else that would like to make a comment? Public remarks? Hearing and seeing none, we already heard.